A lot of people like doing the SS seat swap into the Caprice. So this is my 2016 Caprice. I didn't do any of this research on my own. Thankful to all the people who have already put in the research and figured out how to do this. But a lot of people said they wanted a video just kind of showcasing how to do it. So here we go. Back here, I'm keeping the police battery. So I'm pulling both 12-volt power and ignition power from the rear battery. So as you can see, I've got a breaker right here. That way I have a way to quickly turn the power on and off to the heated and air conditioned seats. So from the back, I have one power wire coming off of my breaker, and then I have my ignition wire, which is actually tied into this ignition fuse block down here. Make sure that you're fusing and or relaying any of your powers. Typically they suggest within 12 inches of your power source. So I'll have one wire coming from the back for power, one wire for ignition, and that's going to run up to the center to the console. All right, so now that we're in the car, I just ran my wires all the way down along the bottom of the floor pan, and then since the seat's out, wires, you can't see them, but they run under here, through here. I've got carpet in this car, so the wires run up through the carpet and into the console. So since I'm putting SS seats in, I've also got an SS dash. So once my wires come into my console, I have my 12-volt hot going into these relays. So I have one relay for the driver's side seat heat and one for the passenger side seat heat. So the 12-volt goes directly to there. And these are going to act as a remote activation or an accessory activation, because I don't want to power the seats off of the ignition, because that's a lot of draw and I'm going to be tapping into a pre-existing ignition, so I don't want to do that. So that's why I've got these right here. So eventually what's going to happen is my ignition comes into the console, and then the ignition goes to these switches. Okay, so I've got switches on either side, and I've got them to where the ignition comes in to the switches, and then when the switch is activated, the switch will provide power to the relay. And so by using the remote activation setup on these relays, the ignition tells the relay to use the battery power, the 12-volt constant, and that is what goes back out and down to the seat. Now they said the air conditioning doesn't use very much of a draw, so I've got the ignition going straight into the switch for the air conditioning button, and then from the air conditioning button it goes straight out and down to the seat. So right now the seats aren't in, so I've just got the wires set off to the side for what it is that's going to be going into the seats. But it looks kind of complicated when you're looking at the wire schematics. It looks a little bit complicated when you're here, but it's really pretty simple. You're just going to be drawing the line straight from your battery to the relay, and then the relay to the seat. And then for your ignition, you're going to draw a line straight from your ignition to your switch, and then from your switch for your air conditioning, it'll be straight to the seat. Or for your heat, it'll be ignition, switch, relay, seat. It's not all that complicated. Just take a little bit of time, don't rush it, and it'll all come out just fine. On a side note, these switches right here, they are in these little 3D printed parts. I got these from IPF Racing. Zach Watts makes some great console pieces. I've got other 3D printed pieces that are going in here from him as well. So if you're looking to do something like this, I just swapped over my standard vents from the Caprice into the trim for the SS. So that way I don't have to worry about having the heated and air conditioned seat buttons working right there. It just looks a little bit cleaner. And then I've got these switches down here. Just bought these switches off of Amazon, so anybody can buy those. Drilled holes into IPF Racing's tile, the fill spot right there, and then just dropped it right in. So you can look up the wiring on the new Caprice forums. They have everything that you need to know on there, and this is just kind of a little bit of a guide just so you can visualize a little bit better how it actually looks once it's in the vehicle. Good luck to you all. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them, and I'm on Facebook and YouTube, so feel free to reach out. Facebook, it's Matthew Josh Degnan, and YouTube, well, obviously it's the channel you're watching right now. So good luck. All right, so the seats are in, and all in all, it seems like a pretty good look. So As far as wiring goes, seat motion is an issue when transferring these over. With the passenger seat, it is perfectly fine. You don't have to make any changes. However, on the driver's seat, there's a memory module in the SS that is not in the Caprice. So just keep in mind that there are 2 wires that you're gonna have to combine, so you're gonna have to work that out in there. The next step in installing the SS seats into the Caprice is going to be your wiring, and it's really not that complicated. Now, I'm not going to directly quote anything. There are people who have done the write-ups on the wire colors on the SS forum, the new Caprice forum, places like that, so go and do a little research on your own, and anything that you do I can't be liable for because you're messing with wiring. But for the driver's seat, off of that yellow plug, there are 2 wires that have to be connected in order to make the driver's seat move. That is not the case for the passenger seat. The passenger seat already moves as soon as you plug it in. And then for the cooling, there is a wire that you will have to tap in that same wiring harness that came off of that yellow plug. And then this gray plug right here, there will be a wire you have to tap off of that. That's to make the cooling work. And then for the heat, there will also be 1 or 2 wires under there that you're gonna have to tap into, so you'll just have to run your wires under there, figure out your way to. Okay, so when I started working on this video specifically, I'd already finished the wiring on the driver's seat, so that's why I just kind of get a brief little glimpse. When I'm working on the wiring on these seats, I just kind of prop them back like this. It works pretty well. So a basic overview, these seats are held in by front hooks that go down into the floor here and here, and then Torx 50 is what I had on my car. So there will be 2 Torx 50s, so you'll have to slide the seat all the way forward so you can access those Torx 50s, and then once you take those out, roll the seat forward just a little bit, and then you'll have access to it. So I've got my power for my cooling and my power for my heat both ran. I could have probably ran them inside this loom right here, but I wanted easy access to them in case I ever need to service it in the future. So just kind of wire management, making sure nothing's going to get caught or tangled, so I tied it into the original wiring. And then you're gonna have to find this green plug right here. You'll tap a wire into that. And then there's a gray plug on the back of this box right here. You'll have to tap into that. So I've been referencing a write-up. This is the write-up that I have primarily been using. It is on the new Caprice forum. It is titled Write-Up, How to Make the SS Seat Heaters and Ventilation Fans Work, 14 to 17 Caprice for $30. This was kind of the rough guide that I followed. It has all the schematics, it has all the wiring, so you can go through and look at all that. That was my rough guide. I customized it a little bit because I put my little switches right here in the console. And now that my wiring is all finished up under here, we can go ahead, hit our ignition, and then there's my heat, there's my cool. Heat, you won't be able to hear anything, so there's no real point in my hitting that. But if I come over here and I hit cool, those little fans turn on and turn off. So that's how we know it's working. Pretty easy project. You can take it on if you try. Alright, so when I shot this video, I'd already finished the driver's seat, so that's why I just kind of took a quick little glimpse over there. So the seats are held in by these 2 hooks in the front. So those will just hook in down here and down here. And then at the back,